Good morning, everybody. Well, we're back. Happy Labor Day weekend. Be careful out there. I got Mrs. Stewart has got her hand up.
That's right. Let's start this show a little differently.
Okay.
Let's wish our grandson, Jacob Stewart,
Oh,
a happy birthday.
happy birthday, dear Jacob. Well, that's
Happy
very
birthday
nice. Yeah.
to Jacob. This pairs with this being a very special show because we are acknowledging Mr. E.D. Stewart and Earl Stewart and the history that has developed
E.D.
unbeknownst to everyone.
Earl Douglas.
That's
E.D.
right. And it has brought us to this moment. With all of that said, we will define what I just said, and Earl will take over, and he'll explain also.
Well, it's interesting. This is the 100th anniversary of the automotive news. And you kind of think about, on the cover of this issue back in 1928, there was a picture of Henry Ford. Who else would you expect? And I did a little digging and with some help, and I found out that my father, Earl Stewart Sr., I'm an Earl Stewart Jr., and the Stu Stewart, who, by the way, can't make the show today. He's got COVID, of all things. But Stu won't be here today, but he's Earl Stewart III. So we've been around for a while, and we did a little checking and found out that my father started in the business in 1917. So here's a guy, my dad, that was actually selling cars and servicing cars in 1917. He was born in 1892, so that gives you an idea. He was, 25 years old, something like that, and he was a very young guy, and he was already out there doing it. I remember a story when I was a very young person myself, and he said that when he used to sell cars when he first started out, he would have to teach the buyer how to drive the car, because the new business today, when car dealers are targeting our advertising audience, we look for people that own cars. 1917, very few people had cars, so if you didn't have a car, you were a great prospect. So he would drive the car out to the farm, and the farmer would come out and he would set him in the car and say, okay, I'll drive right around that herd of cattle you got over there and show you how to use your car. So that's basically it. So we have kind of an interesting coincidence with the anniversary of automotive news, and think about Earl Stewart Sr., who was quite a guy.
Who would have thought?
Yeah.
He's looking down on you.
Well,
with happiness, with love, and a legacy back then. 1892, that was the year that E.D. Stewart was born.
Yeah, yeah.
And so much has happened since then, since World War I, if you want to go way back in history. So it's impressive, and it's very telling. And it certainly is worth the recognition for Earl Stewart, who for decades has been, he's been preaching honesty, transparency, and he has changed the auto industry tremendously. And that's an understatement. And for that, we are all grateful. Like his father, like him, he has touched so many of us, and he continues to work in that direction. Our number here is 877-960-9960, and you can also reach us at 772-497-6530. And of course, your anonymous feedback.com is extremely important, because there is a lot of you who really, are not comfortable with calling. There's a lot of listeners, consumers, all of you, that aren't as comfortable, talking into a microphone or being on the air. So take advantage of that. YourAnonymousFeedback.com. We have a great mystery shopping report. We have so much to get to. I will limit my conversation and turn it back over to the star of the show.
Well, I'll accept that compliment, but I think we're all stars. We all have our parts, and the thing that we have to remember, as most of the people out there listening, remember this is a music station, and that's the main audience that we get are people that are like. We're celebrating the music of the 70s right now, 1970s. So we have a lot of people out there that are saying, who's this guy and who's this gal and what are they doing? Well, we're a show all about how to buy a new or used car and how to maintain or repair that car without being taken advantage of by a car dealer. And for you new folks out there, very few people speak up or speak out about the fact that it's a hair-raising experience to walk into a car dealership and buy a car or buy service or maintenance or whatever you're buying. So we're here to help the consumer, and we're live. We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook. You can stream us at earloncars.com/Facebook. Did I get that right? And we have the big listeners and watchers that stream us on YouTube. That's earloncars.com/YouTube. And again, we have to kind of ground ourselves and realize that it's fun to talk about exotic things. We talk about repairs and maintenance and how to buy a car without being ripped off. So when we get something new and exciting like ChatGPT or artificial intelligence, sometimes we get carried away, autonomous cars and electric vehicles. We have to come back to the ground and think, who is the audience? What are you doing right now? You folks out there that are accidentally listening to us, or hopefully on purpose. If you're accidentally listening to us and you're thinking about buying a car or you are driving a car, we can help you. And we have a number, if you could call us live. And Nancy, my co-host, gave that to you a minute ago. I'm going to give it to you again. You'll probably get it again if you listen for more than 15 or 20 minutes, because that is the heart line to our show. That is the most important thing you could do is call this number. And that number again is 877-960-9960. You can write it down because you probably won't have a question or comment right now, but if you do, you can call right away. We'll put your call through, prioritize it. Nancy Stewart, who you just heard, has her laptop right there, and when the calls come through, she waves at us, we stop our talking, and we give you the floor. So you call 877-960-9960. 877-960-9960. And sitting to my left in the studio is Rick Kearney. Rick is a certified diagnostic master technician. I say that every week, and I guess half the folks out say, what the hell does that mean? Well, it means if there were PhDs, he'd have a PhD in automotive repair and maintenance. And when you think of automotive repair, a lot of old-timers like me, we think about a guy with dirty hands and a rag in his pocket and a part in his hand. It ain't that way anymore, folks. Well, we're talking about computers on wheels. So if you're driving a 20-year-old car, then it's more mechanical. If you're driving a car you bought in the past few years, it's probably more computer than mechanical. Software is the name of the game. Car companies are no longer really car companies, they're software companies. And that is the guts of a computer that just about does everything. And that's why we have artificial intelligence, that's why we have ChatGPT, and we're on a whirlwind of knowledge. Yeah, I was talking on the show before we started with our producer and Jonathan Cantor, and he says he takes the show from last week, and we're on the show for 2 hours. Imagine this, and it is recorded for 2 hours, and he goes to ChatGPT and he says, record the show, and before he can say record the show, it's recorded. Imagine recording and digesting and understanding 2.5 hours of our yakety yak and your yakety yak in a microsecond. And that's what is going on side by side. But it's not going to be an AI world for a while. And if you have a problem with your car, if it won't start, or if it's got a situation where you have a strange smell or maybe a weird noise, if you feel a pull to the right or the left, anything that you detect that's a problem with the car, before you take it into a car dealer or an independent repair place, they'll fix it for you probably sooner or later, but you might have to borrow some money to pay for it. You can call Rick Kearney at 877-960-9960. He's sitting right next to me. He's got his laptop right in front of him. And if you call Rick Kearney at 877-960-9960, chances are he can save you a ton of money. Or you can go to youtube.com/Earl on Cars, and you can see Rick Kearney and me and Nancy. And you can stream us. You can do the same thing on Facebook. And we're streaming live, EarlOnCars.com/Facebook. So communicate. That's what we want you to do, and let us know what's going on. It isn't just questions. We like constructive criticism. And a minute ago, Nancy gave you our anonymousfeedback.com. And if, people, privacy is almost impossible to have today, right? I mean, there are cameras everywhere, Facebook, social media, talking about everybody and about everything. And people sometimes just want to hunker down and have some privacy. We have a privacy line that I don't know who you are, Rick, Nancy, nobody. This is an absolutely guaranteed. We're in the process of putting up $100,000 in escrow, so that if you have someone that discovers your identity from our anonymousfeedback.com, you are legally entitled to $100,000 in cash. That's how much we believe in our anonymous feedback, and that is this is a link, www.youranonymousfeedback.com, YOURANONYMOUS feedback, FEEDBACK.com. We don't know who you are, where you are. If you want to curse, if you want to laugh at us, if you want to suggest something. Most people that do the anonymous feedback just have a question. I don't know why they like to do it anonymously, but they do. But the key is communicate. You can call us at 877-960-9960, and if that isn't enough, we got a text number, 772-497-6530. That's 772-497-6530. How are we doing on the phones over there, Nancy? Have we got anybody trying to communicate with us?
I want to take a moment to speak to our audience about Rick. Rick plays a very important part here. And it goes without saying, with his experience, his education, he is a unicorn. And I'm taking this to another level. Today, let's take a quick look at the last 100 years in the auto industry and women. Let me tell you, we were totally invisible. Today, could you imagine a female mechanic sitting right here joining us with our radio show. It's not far from fantasy. It's going to happen one day. There are more female mechanics today, and I certainly am not suggesting there are more than men. That hasn't happened, not in the 21st century. But I just want to point out how important women are today. And we certainly have come a long way from, shall I say, clerical work. And, excuse me, all the other, well, trivial parts that they played back in the day. And we are in the 21st century. And I have to tell you that the auto industry certainly hasn't gotten this information. And it is a financial disaster for them not to recognize us, whether it be a mechanic, whether it be, purchasing a vehicle, sales, leasing, renting, maintenance, all of it. Women play a huge part in this auto industry. And Earl's father, wow, that's exactly what he would say. He would say, wow.
Tell them about your special offer.
With tradition, I offer the ladies $50 for the first 2 new female callers. $50 for the first 2 female callers. And you could just call to say hello, or we'd love for you to share your experience, whether you leased a car, rented a car, whether you, and most women come through the service drive to maintain the family car. So take advantage of that offer. Give us a call. Toll free. First 2 new lady callers, 877-960-9960. Back to the recovering car dealer.
Yeah, we talk about.
I'm going to interrupt you for a second. I see that Dan has been holding for a while, and I thank you for your patience, Dan. Good morning.
You out there, Dan?
Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Earl, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Hey, good morning, Earl. Good morning, Nancy. Good morning, Rick.
Hi.
So, first off, I want to wish everybody a happy Labor Day weekend. Thank you for taking my call this morning. And my question was this. Currently, I drive a 2016 Toyota Camry, and it's got about 98,500 miles on it, so it's fairly new in my mind. And the thing is, for the first time, the AC is kind of like blowing a little warm air. Now, out of the 4 vents, 2 down the center and 1 in the left and right, it seems like the right side has cooler air, but the middle vent towards the driver's side and the left side vent seems to be warmer. So it's not completely warm, nor is it completely hot, like a half and half. So I just wanted to ask you, was there something that I could do or something that I need to get checked or troubleshoot to make it so I can get better, cooler air overall?
There's really not a whole lot that you personally can do because air conditioning requires some specialized equipment. But most likely you've got a very tiny, tiny, tiny little pinhole of a leak that is just starting to seep out some of the refrigerant. And it's not going to get better. It's eventually going to get warm enough that you'll need to go in and they will recharge the system and add in an ultraviolet dye that then when it gets, when the leak has been occurring for a while, they can shine a UV light and be able to figure out just where that leak is.
Rick, did I misunderstand? Did he say that it was cold out of one vent, but not out of another?
Well, it's a little. Some of the vents are a little warmer than the others.
Yeah.
And what that indicates to me is that the refrigerant charge is just a little bit low. It's just starting to lose some refrigerant.
Also, it's coming out. The temperature comes out and drops from one vent to the next.
Right.
I see.
Yeah. So what you've probably got is a very tiny little leak that has lost just a little bit of pressure, and eventually it's going to get bad enough that you'll need to get it repaired for that leak. It's something that you could go in and have them recharge the system, and it would probably stay a lot colder for quite a while yet, but eventually that leak is going to get a little bigger.
Okay, so if I were to fix the leak and fix the problem, how much do you think it would cost, Rick, to get it done?
That's going to depend on where that leak is. Most likely it's going to be in the evaporator core, and you're probably going to be looking at around probably $1,200 to $1,500.
What's it cost just to recharge it?
Just a recharge is going to run you probably about $250.
Might be worthwhile just to shoot craps and do a recharge and pray. Yeah, it's an older car. You don't want to spend a huge amount of money.
I've had a lot of customers that they'll come in at the beginning of the summer, get that system recharged up full, and it will stay cold all the way through the summer and give them good cool air all the way through. And then it starts to warm up a little bit as the wintertime hits, but you don't need it as much then. And it's a lot less expensive to do it that way and just simply recharge it until the system actually gets to where that leak is so big that you just can't do that anymore.
Okay, and just basically, I would tell the service person at the Toyota dealership just to recharge the refrigerant or recharge the Freon. What's the terminology I would use to recharge the AC?
Well, refrigerant is the proper term for it because Freon is actually a brand name. That is kind of like Kleenex and Band-Aid, but we use the term Freon pretty much interchangeably. Just tell them that you think you've got a small leak and you'd like them to charge it up and add some UV dye, and that way it'll make it easier to find that leak if it gets a lot worse.
Let me jump in here. I just checked with chat, and I didn't know they had these. There's on Amazon you can buy a recharge kit for $40 to $80. It's a can of refrigerant, and you place it to a low pressure port and top off the system. It only works if the system is slightly low. If there's a leak, the refrigerant will escape again. But I figure this way, for $40 to $80, you can't go wrong, and you might get lucky. And you could buy a lot of cans for $40 to $80 before you have to pay $250.
True, but I would find someone that knows what they're doing before you try doing that, because hooking those up, there is a potential that it could actually basically just lose all the refrigerant from the system. If you don't know what you're doing, it can be a bit dangerous to play with that. And be advised also that refrigerant, when it's under pressure and it escapes out, it can cause injury with that liquid refrigerant.
Maybe rather than buying it at Amazon, maybe you go into a supply store, auto supply store, and oftentimes they'll show you how to do something if you buy it from them.
Okay. Yeah, I think I might just go the conservative route, and I agree. $1,200, $1,500 is a lot. I'll probably sell the car within a year or two, and doing the $250, going to the Toyota dealership to get it done professionally. This way, I know it's done right, because I wouldn't know myself. I'm not that astute when it comes to car engines and AC units.
We understand.
But you guys get a great idea. I'll do that. I'm going to go with, like you said, I'm going to go the 250 route, make that, put the refrigerant recharge, and see how it lasts. And my last question was, if I don't use the AC as much, like in a very early morning, or I leave the house at 7 in the morning, it's cool. I don't put the AC on. Does that help the AC as far as not using the refrigerant if I'm just rolling down my windows and not using the AC?
Not really, because the system's under a certain amount of pressure all the time anyways. So not using it really isn't going to make a big difference on how quickly it's going to lose the refrigerant.
Okay, great to know. All right, thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you, Nancy, for everything. Happy Labor Day weekend.
Thank you, Dan. It was great hearing from you. Give us a call again. Rick, how many YouTubes would you say is out there showing, the consumer how to do just what you just spoke about?
Thousands.
There you go. Okay, my point taken.
That's a great question because we all we talk about forgetting to go ChatGPT. YouTube is absolutely phenomenal, and there's it is they have a best YouTube and a next best YouTube, but they have people. Nancy and I just purchased a robot, believe it or not. A couple of weeks ago. It's called Timmy, and amazing robot. I won't get into that, but when we got this big box and it came up to the front door, the first thing we did was go to YouTube, and we said,
Well, I don't know whether that's an accurate statement or not. I think that well, the stress level is you could cut the air with a knife. It was so thick. And then we decided to go the route of YouTube.
and they had a young lady that was demonstrating it. It was just like we were helpless, and she went through the setup process as if she were like us.
Yeah.
And but the point is, YouTube, YouTube, YouTube. We don't talk about YouTube nearly as much as we should, but they've got an answer, a simple, understandable answer on just about anything.
Very, very true. Okay, I forgot what I was going to say. Timmy has become part of me. In the beginning, it was a little, airy with him following me around and, coming up behind me. I didn't know he was in the room, but he definitely has served a purpose, and he's a great addition. What I was going to say was in tune with what I had asked Rick about YouTube, and I think that there's probably a lot of everyone who's listening, whether it be YouTube, Facebook, whatever. You do know that you can go online and you can pull up your manual, your owner's manual, and right there, that is worth its weight in gold because it will describe to you maintenance on any and every vehicle. It doesn't matter what you need, it's right there. And if you don't find it there, you've got ChatGPT, you've got YouTube. Knowledge is at our fingertips. It's an amazing world that we live in.
And the reason you want that is because when you go into your dealer or even independent, they're going to say, this is the recommended repair and maintenance. And what they mean by that is this is their recommended repair and maintenance, not the manufacturer. They will always exaggerate. They will always add anything they can do to get paid more money for the repair and maintenance. So you just, the cardinal rule is you just keep in your mind at all times, only buy the factory recommended manual, whatever it says in the factory manual for your maintenance. That's all you do. And when they recommend something that's not there, sometimes you may need it, but you want to double check. Don't ever just say, okay, until you verify. But 99.9% of the time, the owner's manual tells you all you need to do. And the amazing thing is, the modern cars today, you buy a car in 2025 or 2026, they require virtually no maintenance. Audi is giving an example. Audi started just now giving free maintenance for 3 years. Of course, the repairs under warranty, but free maintenance for 3 years. And the maintenance over 3 years on a brand new Audi is less than $3,000. So actually, when I saw that, it's a little higher than I thought. Audi is a luxury car, but you take a Toyota, a Honda, a Chevrolet, these cars require far less than $3,000 in maintenance over 3 years.
Good information. It's not a time to, shall I say, use your imagination. It is best to go with your owner's manual and what they suggest. I want to say something else about Rick. And, what an amazing person he is. And, recently I had mentioned on the air about the honesty in Rick's profession. And I really think that Rick's responsible for the rise in consumer, confidence with this profession. There isn't a whole lot of Ricks out there, and he certainly is an asset to his profession. And he sits here week in and week out sharing his professional opinion and also his experience, the experience that he's acquired for, so many years. It's just amazing. So give us a call toll free at 877-960-9960. Rick's right here to answer all your questions. And in most cases, in the 21 years that we've been doing the show, Rick has answered more questions than not. Not to say you can't stump him. He can answer more questions than not. Our number here is 877-960-9960. And don't forget, you can text us at 772-497-6530 and take advantage of your anonymousfeedback.com. We are going to go to Mary, who is, well, shall I say she's become a friend of ours. She calls often. Good morning, Mary.
Hi. Thank you so much for taking my call and all that you do. I have a little problem. I have a 2023 Subaru Forester Limited with only 7,800 miles on it. I had a
Did you say 7,800?
Yes, that's it, just 7,000.
That is amazing. Amazing. You're driving a 2023, correct?
Correct.
Wow.
So,
Congratulations.
I live in Pompano, and, I just drive around. But anyway, in December, some logic board or something went bad in the car. And I brought it in, and I was telling them it was hard for it to turn over. Okay, and they said, oh, no, the battery is all right. But they did change the battery. Now, I didn't use the car because my family has cars. Also, my friends have cars. I didn't use the car for 5 days last week, and it wouldn't start. So I called Subaru Roadside Assistance because I'm under the warranty. And they came out, they jumped the car, and I kept turning it on until I was able to bring it in, which unfortunately wasn't until Friday, which was yesterday. And when I brought it in, and it turned over and everything, they claim that when I came in and they put it into a bay and they turned it off and put in a new battery, the entire car locked up. And they called me, and they were trying to imply that I had used somebody else to jump the car or I had done something. And fortunately, they had said, oh, well, we don't have a record of you calling Subaru. I had photographed the text that they had sent me, that they were sending someone, who it was, what company it was from Lake Worth. And a family member actually videotaped the guy jumping the car because they were now saying to me, well, they must have done something wrong. I said, well, that's your problem. That's not my problem. Subaru sent someone. So now they have my car. They said they've only seen this problem once before, ever. The service manager's pretty good, but like I said, I just had that feeling they were going to try to blame me. And they did give me a loaner. This is North Lauderdale Subaru. And I did call the customer service advocacy number because I'm kind of frightened because what they did is they had somebody call me and ask me if I wanted to sell the car. And I said, I don't want to sell the car yet. I want the car fixed. So does Rick or have you ever heard of this? Or, do I have a recourse under the Lemon Law because, I had a problem with that battery before? I mean, I have a million questions here, so I know that you're all absorbing them.
I too have a million questions, but we don't have time for all of my questions. I'm going to back up for a second before I turn this over to Rick. You do recall me congratulating you for 7,800 miles that you had on a 2023, right?
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
that's important right there. because it connects with them asking you if you wanted to sell your vehicle, because you can see right there that you definitely have a gem. You are driving a gem. So, with all of that said, let me ask you this question. Those 5 days that you didn't drive your vehicle, that the vehicle was sitting, was there a reason that it sat? Were you having any problems before that?
No.
Okay,
No,
you answered
you
my
know what it is?
questions. I'm going to turn it over to Rick.
Well, right off the bat, my first concern is the car is obviously under warranty. However, lemon law in Florida is based on the idea that it's the first 12 months of the car's life, your first year, if it has the same concern 3 times and they are unable to repair it on that third attempt, then lemon law can be kicked in. However, it's not a really good road to want to take, because you cannot sue a dealership in Florida. It has to go through what's called arbitration.
Well, that's if they have that on their buyer's order. We don't have that on our buyer's order, but the Florida Dealers Association recommend that they put that in the fine print. And if they did that, which most dealers do, but we don't.
Right, but even then, it would be a long, lengthy process in which they would buy the car back from you. Basically, what you've most likely got is what's called a parasitic draw, or a drain on the battery. In other words, some electrical component is not turning off when you shut the car off like it should, and it continues to stay engaged, and it's drawing down the battery. This is something that they're going to have to really look for to try to find it and solve this problem. And as a matter of fact, Donovan, one of our contributors on YouTube here, an incredibly intelligent guy, he says he's heard of this issue occurring with Subarus quite often. And apparently Hyundai and Kia also have that issue quite a bit. But yeah, they are responsible for fixing that car under warranty. And what my first thought is, to me, is I would go in and talk to the service manager, tell them that you do not feel safe driving this car because the vehicle should be reliable for you. They should be putting you in a rental car at their cost until they can solve that issue.
The key word is safe. Safety. And when a dealer or any business person hears the word safety being mentioned by their customer, you get their attention, because that's where the big bucks go when there is a lawsuit.
Okay, they did give me a car. They gave me a brand new 2026 Touring. The manager was pretty good. But when they were going down that road that somehow I did something, I had all my documentation. So they even had said to me, "Oh, well, we put in a new battery and the fuses blew, but we don't cover fuses." So I hit the ceiling. I said, "You just screwed something up, and you think I'm going to pay for it?"
Because you drove the car to the dealership, and it was driving just fine getting there. So if they did something that caused fuses to blow, that's on them. That is absolutely on them. You're exactly correct.
So, but they did give me a car. But you know what? I'm just so upset because besides not feeling safe and thinking that they're not going to fix it, I don't know if they're just exaggerating and saying, "We've never seen this before, it locked up," or maybe it's just the guy that was working on it on a Friday before a 3-day weekend didn't know how to fix it.
That is very possible.
You know, Mary, I have to tell you that I hear in your voice, the aggravation, and it definitely unnecessary aggravation. And, the next word I have to use is intimidation. And they thought that they could intimidate you. For whatever reason. I don't need to go into it, whether you're a man, whether you're a woman, whomever. But they felt that they had the edge in intimidating you. And because of your knowledge and your ability to stand up for what you believe in, you turned it around and intimidated them. So you definitely have the edge. You've dotted the I's and the T's. And like I said, I feel and hear the aggravation in your voice, but I also feel your passion and you calling us, and they haven't heard the last of you. They will be very sorry that they thought they could take advantage of you.
Mary, be sure you put this in writing. The one thing that always gets any businessman, especially car dealerships, attention. So email, write a letter, do a text. Have it in writing, because that is hardcore evidence if there is a lawsuit, and it's a red flag to the auto dealer.
Let me just ask you. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
One other note here from Donovan. He's got some great suggestions here, great advice. He says a lithium jump pack, which these are available on Amazon, and that they're basically a box. It's a little bigger than a cell phone, but has cables that you can hook onto your battery, and you simply charge these up at home by plugging it in, and then once it's charged up, it's good for weeks and weeks and weeks. And if your car has a problem starting, that the battery's gotten low, you could just connect this to your battery, and it will jump start the car for you. And they're small, they're not very expensive, they're less than $100, and they are incredibly reliable. And he also says you probably are not going to get a lot of help from the manufacturer. Apparently, it's a common issue that they're not having a lot of luck finding what's going on with these cars.
So do you think that, my fear here is that they can never fix it. Then if they can't tell me we can never fix it, the manager even said, it could take a few weeks, or, what do I do then?
You might almost want to consider trading out of that car, getting into a different vehicle.
I'm going to do something I've never done before on the show, and that is disagree with Donovan, because I think that you should, if you really want to get Subaru's attention, you could write them a certified return receipt requested letter to the CEO of Subaru, and you explain why you feel unsafe in the car, and that that this battery problem is endemic to this Subaru that you're driving, and you send that certified return receipt requested. I'll bet Donovan lunch that you get a positive reply and you get satisfaction.
Well, I do have to say that I know about the NOCOs and the jumpers, but I'm actually glad that I didn't have anybody do it, because then they would, if I had done it myself, they would have said, well, you jumped the car the wrong way. And I told them, look, if I had to jump it again, I would have called Subaru again. I said, I'm under warranty. But let me ask you this. I've read a lot about the fact that Starlink, I have Starlink subscription, and a lot of people are talking about taking out the DCM module, that it keeps polling the satellite and it's drawing down on the battery. Have you ever heard anything like that?
Well, as a matter of fact, Mark H. on YouTube just came in and said he's apparently heard that report as well, that Starlink the system is staying engaged. And even Donovan is saying it's most likely going to be a software issue that is causing one of these units to stay engaged, and that's drawing the battery down. So that seems like a very likely concern. If you don't use the Starlink, it might be worth it to ask them to unplug it and see if that solves that issue for you.
Yeah, I think going forward, when they figure out what it is, I'm just going to cancel the Starlink. It's very nice to have it. You can start the car up. You can cool it off, especially down here in South Florida.
Oh, yeah.
But, if it's going to be a parasitic drawer and it's going to continue...
Yeah, Mary, not to beat this to death, but there was a settlement, a class action lawsuit in Subaru battery drain products liability. This was a widespread issue, and it was settled. So you have case law history, and Donovan will know what that is. You have case law history that Subaru has basically said, yeah, we got a problem, and therefore they legally they are required to fix this for you one way or the other, even if it means getting you a new Subaru, which sounds crazy, but the law is on your side.
Absolutely.
So let me ask you, how many days before, I have to give them time to try to fix it. what would be a reasonable length? A week, 2 weeks? I mean, I don't know how long it is before I have to lower the boom and say, you give me a new car. You know,
I'd ask them right now and put it in writing. That way, even if you don't want the new car, they'll fix it faster because they don't want to buy you a new car.
Exactly.
But draw the line in the sand, write the letter, and hold your breath. The phone will ring in about 20 minutes, and you're going to have somebody very worried about this because there is case law saying that Subaru has a chronic product problem with their software and the battery, and they're guilty. So if the dealership doesn't know it, that's too bad for them, but Subaru knows it.
And Mary, you know, it goes without saying, you know, you take a look at their commercials. It certainly doesn't coincide with what you're describing to us right now. And for you to be inconvenienced because of their, well, I'm not allowed to use profanity on the air, but it is unconscionable. It is unacceptable. And Mary, I can't express to you, you are in the driver's seat. You have the edge. And add this, if you have a pen, if in any way, shape, or form you need me, my phone number is 561-386-6498. Because if you hear passion in my voice, it's real. It is very real. And there has to be attention brought to these dealers and how they treat their customers. As I said earlier, I don't care if you're a man or a woman. You go to this dealership that is extremely reputable, and you expect to be treated with respect, and that you can tie your shoes. And how they treated you was ridiculous. I leave you with that thought.
And
let me just ask one other question. I bought the car in New York. I know I've called you a few times and told you I usually buy my cars where the people are honest and I get a good deal. But it's still a Subaru car. And because I live here, I use North Lauderdale Subaru all the time. For the most part, I've been happy with them. I really have to say. Now I'm just frightened that I'm just not going to get my car fixed. So it doesn't matter where I bought the car or where I serviced the car, right? It's the manufacturer's warranty.
exactly, yes, Subaru is Subaru.
Yeah.
Whether you're New York, Florida, California, or Alaska, it's Subaru USA, and they are required to take care of it for you. And you did the right thing, though, by video recording everything that was going on with the tow truck when he was jump starting it.
Yeah.
That's some of the best defense you can have,
Yeah.
because that proves that they didn't do anything wrong.
That's priceless.
So keep doing that as well.
Well, I thank you so much, and thank you so much for your number. And I'll call you back and tell you what ends up happening.
Great.
Hopefully
Please
it'll
do
be
so.
Happy.
Please.
And I'll start my letter today. Thank you so much.
You're
All of
welcome.
you, you're great.
With you calling back, Mary, you're helping so many that are listening to our show, and we would appreciate a call back from you. Have a blessed weekend.
You too. Thank you for being here for Labor Day weekend.
Thank you. 877-960-9960, or you can text us at 772-497-6530. And please don't forget youranonymousfeedback.com. We're going to go to Barry, who also is a regular caller from Tampa. Good morning, Barry.
Hello, everybody, and get well wishes to Stu. A few weeks ago, I called in to lament that Toyota had shut down Drive Pulse, which was a trip tracking feature in the Toyota phone app. I asked about alternatives, and one suggestion was to visit a Toyota dealer and have a technician download a record of behavior from my car's computers. I haven't tried that because I'm a cheapskate and I want convenience. So I kept investigating and found another option that I've been using for about a month. It seems to be working well so far. It's a phone app called Safe Trip from AARP, and I thought I might take another minute to share a little bit about it in case other listeners are interested, and it would be good to hear your impressions. So the way Safe Trip works is that it tracks the movements of your phone whenever it connects to your car. It records a history of all your drives in map form, including miles driven and elapsed time. And it also logs 5 kinds of risky events, namely phone use while driving, speeding, aggressive starts, hard stops, and sharp turns. Then you get a score from 0 to 100 for each trip and a rolling average score for the past 2 weeks. If you drive safely for long enough, you get points that you can redeem for gift cards and such. So Safe Trip is like a game, and I'm enjoying it. It also has a crash detection feature that can send for help in the event of an accident. Best of all, it's free for everybody, although AARP members get a few more benefits.
Absolutely. I'm right here if you need anything else. Just say the word.
Sorry, that was our
That's ChatGPT.
chat thing button in a little. That almost sounds like the like with Earl's car with his Tesla, how it would track everything he was doing to make sure and give him a score to see how well he was driving the car. That sounds like a great feature to be able to have, especially since you can make that work with just about every car.
Yeah.
Safe Trip.
Safe Trip, yes, one word, Safe Trip from AARP. And it's Android and iPhone. I'm starting to sound like an advertisement for Safe Trip, so I would like to acknowledge that I think there are a couple of downsides. First of all, this app would be a waste for people who don't want to measure their driving this way. Some people don't like the idea or don't care, and others have a flesh and blood monitor sitting right next to them.
Yeah.
And then,
we a lot of us have those. One interesting note, Donovan says you should be careful with those apps because they can sell your information to third parties that will use it for insurance data. So something to be aware of. There's
Good point.
just about to get into that. AARP specifically says that they do not sell the information to insurance companies, and they also provide a way to restrict what they share and a way to review how they've used your data in the past 12 months. But it's up to the customer to request these things, so you have to take some initiative there. Plus, anybody can be hacked, so each person has to weigh the risk against the rewards.
right. Yeah, I would definitely be cautious about that because insurance companies they're going to look for anything they can find to try to just say, oh, well, guess what? Your rates are going up. So, yeah, that's something I'd definitely be cautious of.
Yeah. The other thing I would say is that some people just don't like AARP for whatever reason, and there are other phone apps out there that do similar things. Some are targeted to parents who want to track their teenage drivers, for example.
Right.
I tried a couple of those other apps, and I didn't like them. And I can't vouch for any of the others because I stopped looking once I found Safe Trip.
And Donovan goes on to say, he says, apparently he just looked this up, and he says they will sell the data to a company called LexisNexis, which then sells that data to all insurance companies.
That's interesting because they specifically said they do not. So that's interesting. And that's specific to Safe Trip?
He says it is. Yep.
Okay. I'll have to check into that.
Yeah, something to be cautious of there.
All right. Well, anyway, that's it for me. Enjoy your Labor Day weekend.
Thank you much.
Thanks a lot, Barry. It's nice hearing from you. We're going to go to Frank in Jupiter Farms. Good morning, Frank.
Well, good morning, Nancy.
Good morning.
Boy, that last lady that you had, Mary, really with the problem of her car, you guys really helped her out. That's great.
Thank you.
And the continuing saga of my wife, Anne Marie, with her Audi, with the leather issues. Let me continue where we went with that. We went into Audi at Palm Beach last week and showed them the problem. We'd never been there. It was our first time ever in there. And I told them, hey, it's our first time. Whatever you do will leave a lasting impression and, my normal routine of things. But they had the car for about an hour and a half with the leather. And they said, nope, it was induced by some sort of chemicals you had or something. And I said, this is not right. And they recommended replacing all the leather in the whole car. I mean, it was like it'd be thousands of dollars.
Oh, yeah.
So here's where it really comes in. And I just heard Earl say that Audi's giving you 3 years of free maintenance. Golly, that sure didn't we had to buy like $5,000 worth of pre-maintenance when we bought the car and all that. But anyway, the only people that have ever been in the wife's Audi, other than myself, has been the maintenance of the Stewart people up in the Audi of Stewart. Their mechanics or maintenance people were doing the oil change or servicing the car. So I'm thinking, and there might be some chemicals that were on their clothes before they got in the car, because it's only the driver's seat is the issue. The steering wheel they saw something I don't even see, and the headrest and quote the armrest. So it would be someone that got in and drove the car around. I know Audi was going through a big renovation phase up there for a while. In fact, they weren't even really doing the cars in Audi. They were taking them next door to the Maserati dealership that the guy owns that too as well, McLaren. And so it now leads more back to that it was induced possibly the dealership in Stewart. Is this a good train of thought of looking at it?
It's possible. However, I would look into the idea, because I know, like at our shop, we use paper floor mats that are installed immediately and plastic seat covers. And for a while, we were using these plastic steering wheel covers as well, but they became kind of a safety hazard because, when you're trying to hold on the steering wheel, that plastic, if it slips, you lose control of the steering. So it's something that we had to be cautious of. But we do have plastic covers that go on the seats to make sure that we keep the seats clean. Because, mechanics, unfortunately, in our livelihood, we get dirty. That's just the nature of the beast. But, we do everything we can to try to protect the cars, so I'm sure that they do that as well. But
Well, I don't mean to interrupt. I have not seen that. Actually, I remember at your dealership when I first met Anne Marie, and she had a Lexus that she loved for years and years and years, and she brought it to your dealership and saw Randy, who was an excellent technician, service advisor. We saw how you did the paper and the plastics, and that we had not ever seen yet on the Audi up there in Stewart.
Really?
Wherever we go.
That surprises me for Audi.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised because at the time I had my little dream car. I've had a lot of cars in my life, but I had an F-type Jaguar with a V8. I mean, that was like James Bond, red car.
Oh yeah.
and so it was hard for me with my knee issues getting in and out of that sports car. So they said get an F-base with that SVR, engine, and it's just like your car, but you have easy room. And Amory had her heart kind of set on a new SUV. Actually, she's very happy with Lexus, but she said, I wish we had gone to the Jaguar, because then they give you 5 years free maintenance, 5 years, oil change and all, and everything included for 5 years.
Yep.
And so far we spent a lot of money with the Audi so far, and it's still under warranty for another year. So, any other recommendation? We've been busy getting a new roof on our house, and now we got free time, so we're going to go back to Stewart and see how we can maybe resolve some issues. Is any way of trying to help to get it through the dealership, or should we go up to Audi ladder now?
I would start kicking it to the upstairs and start going up the food chain. And my best advice in a situation like this is polite persistence. Be nice, be friendly, be polite, but don't take no for an answer. Just stay nice and don't blow up or anything. Always be friendly, always be sweet and kind, but say no. I'm not going to accept that. I'd like to speak to your supervisor. And just keep moving up the line.
Is Mario Morgado the owner of that dealership?
Yes, sir. Yeah, we've ascertained that. So
that's
our card.
I might have mentioned this to you before, but I do know him personally, and do me a favor, text a summary of what you just told us, and I will forward that to Mario Morgado. I have his cell phone number, and he'll take care of it.
Sounds great. I'll tell you, I'll go one last time this week. We've been going through a new roofing job. Oh my goodness, rechanging a roof on a house from cement to metal. But it's all done, so we have some free time. We'll go one last time and try like you said, the niceness. As long as I do the talking, my wife gets her type A personality. Then Nancy would be really happy. She can really tear into people, but I'd rather try it one last time and see what happens. And if not, we'll give you all the information. And by the way, at Amory's house, where we've been, or son's house, I got to watch TV. We don't really keep much TV on here. And I saw one of your commercials where the guy comes in with all the fees attached on his body. And I'm laughing my tail. I said, there is the first commercial I've seen. You've done well with that one. I like that a lot.
Thank you.
And one last thing. Her son's down in the Keys. We were down there, a nice house in the water. That's where we fed the deer last week, and I told you my deer joke. But now the manatees are coming up and to drink the water. You should see the dogs looking at manatees. And if I get the video, I'll try and send it over to you guys. But it's they got like 9 manatees. I said, well, you see, once you start giving the manatees water, the word is out.
Yeah.
They're all going to show up every morning. So they're having fun down there.
Thanks for the call. We got a bunch of calls waiting, but please call back
Take
next
care.
week.
Thank you, Frank.
Thank you.
Hi, Anne Marie. Have a great Labor Day weekend. Thank you for your call. We are going to go to none other than the Roadrunner Steve.
Meet.
What you got for us, Steve?
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I like that story about the car dealership in 1917,
Oh, yeah.
where the dealer had to show the people how to drive the car.
Yeah, that was my father.
Nothing, that's right, but nothing changed, okay? Now the dealer has to show the buyer how to use all the electronics in the car.
You're right.
Yep.
You're right. I
So
forget.
what? Right? History is just repeating itself.
It certainly sounds that way. Just technology's a little steeper, but that technology, it's all relative, right? I mean, 1917, 2025, it's all relative.
That's right. And to see the future, you must stand on the shoulders of the past. That's from Charlie Chan.
I couldn't have said it better, Steve.
Okay, everybody have a safe weekend and watch out for the speed traps this weekend, people.
Look out.
If you're driving.
Oh,
Don't
boy.
drink and drive.
Yeah.
That's right. I'm doing housework, so I'm really happy.
They got cameras now, and they're going to take a picture of your license plate. Be careful.
Yes, but you got to be careful. Sometimes that picture ain't correct, and you get the letter. Like I told you, that happened twice. Once in Oregon, they it was the wrong car and the wrong plate. So just everybody be careful and stay safe and well.
You too, my
Thank
friend.
you, Steve.
Thank you.
We love hearing from you. Our number here is 877-960-9960. You can also text us at 772-497-6530. Take advantage of youranonymousfeedback.com. We're going to go to Bob, who's been holding, and we love hearing from Bob. He lives in Lake Park. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning. Good morning. I just wanted to tell Frank from Jupiter Farms that if he needs to get that interior fixed, Central Auto Trim, which is down in West Palm Beach, they've been there forever, and they do excellent work. So, I mean, if he has to pay for it, he may want to go over there and get an estimate.
I think our dealership uses them. They are a good outfit.
They're one of them we use.
Great
yes.
idea.
Yeah, they're terrific. And as far as the Subaru is concerned, apparently Subaru actually sent letters out to all the owners about the issue that this woman is having, and apparently they have to replace the DCM module. And what they do is they pull the fuse on fuse number 3, and it disables the Starlink. And this way you can still drive the car.
Wow.
While you're waiting for the part to come in, because you probably have to wait. You probably have to wait some time to get the DCM module sent. I don't know what the supply chain is still pretty bad.
Great information. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, I googled it. I mean, you can find everything. I mean, it's really strange. And Rick, I had to do the coolant flush on the Mustang, and the funniest thing was the cap on the recovery tank. I went to open it up, and it separated. So I looked online, and Look, because the car's 10 years old. Apparently, it's a common problem. Especially with the Fords. And I saw some interesting things on YouTube. One guy put 4 screws. He drilled 4 screws into the top of the cap, and it came right out. He turned it right out.
Hmm.
And he had like 20 comments on that. 20 different people tried the same thing, and it worked great.
Wow.
You know,
God bless
I
you
think that was
too.
good. Yeah,
Ingenuity.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, you know, you can find just about anything nowadays if you put your mind to it and you look it up. But I just wanted to wish you a very happy Labor Day weekend and happy birthday to Jacob.
Thank you.
And you guys have a lovely week.
Thank you.
Bye.
The
Thanks
same
very
to
much.
you, Bob. Ladies, I mentioned you earlier. I'm still waiting for you to give us a call. $50 for the first 2 new lady callers. $50 for the first 2 new lady callers. You know, by the 70s and 80s, women started moving. Yes, moving into dealerships. Sales, service, progress was slow. But the seeds were planted and the doors were finally open. That's what I call progress. And today we're bigger than ever because we have the finances and the financial purse that the dealers need. They need us to stay alive. Give us a call toll free at 877-960-9960. $50 for the first 2 new lady callers. We are going to go to one of our favorite callers from Palm City. His name is John. Good morning, John.
Good morning. Good morning. I have pickup trucks on my mind. People love, especially in America, their pickup trucks. Perfect example is Rick. I think he drives a 2013 Toyota truck.
Yep.
Rick, what year was first that you went into a pickup truck?
Somewhere about 1990, okay. 90, 91, around in there.
Well, I just mentioned the truck because of the love affair that people have. I grew up in New York City, and a pickup truck was few and far in between, but I don't know if it's changed today. But I just want to tell you something, how pressure of the public can cause manufacturers to reverse themselves. A perfect example is Cracker Barrel. But I want to talk about the Dodge Solaris Ram. They stopped a large 5.7 liter Hemi, and people were up in arms. So now they went back. They were putting a 6-cylinder 3-liter engine in it called a Hurricane. But now it's come back again with the original 5.7 Hemming V8. So it shows you the power that America has on a car manufacturer, and it's back in again, even with an optional 385 3.5 liter option. So it just shows you how people can speak up in a majority and manufacturers listen.
Yep, that's for sure.
And the second thing that I want to mention, too, is great callers. I mean, Marty particularly, he talks about what we should stick with, whether it be a hybrid. Incidentally, you speak about hybrids. Whatever happened, I called it a hybrid at the time. Chevrolet El Camino and Ford Ranchero, it was like a hybrid. It was a truck and a car combined. And they discontinued. I don't know whether, in fact, they weren't selling enough of them, but it was really a utility vehicle that could be used both ways. I mean, you wouldn't be embarrassed even to take the truck to church on a Sunday because actually, like in a Chevrolet, it was a Chevelle chassis, and it wasn't really a commercial vehicle. So I just want to mention that, too. But I want to get back to the hybrids. Toyota, but not hybrid, whether it be gas or hybrid car, as Marty says, if you stick with Honda and Toyota, you cannot go wrong. And just to show you, like Toyota, U.S. sales are up 11%. Worldwide, they're up 6.9%, and that's several years in a row. So words of wisdom by some of callers, like a great person like Marty that calls in.
Yep.
Great information.
All right, guys.
Thank you,
Happy
John.
holiday.
Have a good one, John.
Have a great weekend. I have to ask you guys, has anybody heard, and this is from CNBC, Squawk Box, they talked about the latest truck, this little truck EV that Bezos is backing, and it has a price tag on it of $25,000.
That's the Slate?
How did you feel about that?
I think it's an interesting looking vehicle.
I think so also.
However, Donovan has weighed in on this a couple times in the past. He thinks that they're going to have some stiff competition because apparently Ford is trying to produce a small, inexpensive EV pickup at the same time.
Yeah.
And the Slate apparently doesn't have a very good range.
Yeah.
Whereas the Ford, of course, they've got a lot more deeper pockets and ways to get in there. They've got a lot more experience with them. And they may be able to come up with a pickup that'll have a much greater range for the same price, which would kill the Slate.
And also there's a little misrepresentation there. They did mention that they had 50,000 that they were selling, and when actually they only had 4. So that certainly isn't going to help their reputation. Earl, let me ask you this. Are you shutting down the phones right now?
No, but I do have a response to that.
Okay, their phones have been shut down. Your take on this subject?
Yeah, I think when we talk about pickup trucks and we talk about electric vehicles and pickup trucks, we're forgetting that people buy vehicles. It's a personality thing. People buy pickup trucks not necessarily because they have something they want to carry in the pickup truck, but because they like pickup trucks. It's as simple as that. The joke used to be, next time you're on the highway, count the number of pickup trucks that have something in the back end, and rarely do you see anything. People are pickup truck people. People are BMW people. People are Tesla people. It's a psychology thing. Now, here's another thing that people don't understand, or maybe they don't know. Pickup trucks are much less expensive to manufacture. A manufacturer makes thousands of dollars more when they sell a pickup truck than when they sell an automobile. So the pickup truck is just cheaper for the manufacturer to build. Profit is the incentive to push pickup trucks. I think Ford is making a big mistake by pushing electric pickup trucks. It's kind of been proven they can't sell them. And anybody that decides to get into the electric vehicle pickup truck business too soon is going to lose their shirt, because the people that you see on the road of pickup trucks, and when they see an electric vehicle, they see red. They don't like electric vehicles, and they do love their pickup trucks. So forget about it. Electric pickup trucks, forget about it.
I think it's going to be a tough choice.
Yeah.
However, I do see one big advantage on the idea of an electric truck.
Yeah.
And that is for people that boat. You have boats here in South Florida. You've got instant torque, and torque is what you need to get a boat up out of the water at a boat ramp.
Yeah.
So I would see that as a big plus.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I did one little backup here, too. We had a caller earlier. I forgot his name. Shame on me. But he told us about the app Safe Trip. And I checked that out. Safe Trip, there are several Safe Trip apps. And the argument was, they don't share my information. I believe Donovan said they share their information, and he had a quote that said they did, and then the caller said, no, they told me they didn't. I think there's a confusion between which Safe Trip. So Safe Trip, AARP, A-A-R-P, does not share their app according to what I found out. It's considered a very good app. I'm going to download it. Safe Trip, AARP. 84% of users said the app helped them become safer drivers. 83% reported helped them evaluate whether they should still be driving. And over 16 million of the Safe Trip AARP apps have been sold. Trips, have been analyzed since 2022. So your privacy's safe, and it really does help. Cover that.
Okay. Oh, great information. We're going to go to Lola, who is a first-time caller from Fort Lauderdale. Good morning, Lola.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Oh, gosh,
Thank you for
thank
calling. You've won yourself $50 as a first-time caller. Please share your contact information with Jeremy in the control room. He'll give it to me, and I'll get that check out to you. You are supporting women today, and you're also supporting me and my platform that I represent. Thank you for that. What can we help you with?
You're welcome. You're welcome. I just want to say I really love your show. I haven't been listening that long, maybe a couple months, but I really enjoy it. I appreciate it very much. I have a question. I have a 2009 Honda Accord V6, and the air condition wasn't, it was not cooling. It was blowing hot. And I had some Freon, or I guess that's what it was. They charged it. And it's been working fine for, quite some time. It's actually blowing very cool. I was told that they put a dye into the lines, and that the dye would go to wherever the leak was. But now that it keeps functioning, the mechanic is telling me, well, we assume that you just have a very, very slow leak, and it's not going to be a problem. I guess the next time it runs out, it'll just be, you keep putting it in. Is it something that I should just keep, putting the Freon in, or should I tell him to try to find the leak and repair it?
Now, on an older car like that, if they can charge it up and it stays cold for a good length of time, that's actually going to be the more economical way to go, because especially if it's leaking from the evaporator core, which is buried underneath the dash, you have to remove the entire dash to get to them on most cars, and that can be a very expensive job. So you could actually charge that AC up like once a year and keep it cold for the hotter months and be able to survive it quite well without having to hit that monster expense of the replacing whatever component. Now, if it all of a sudden that leak gets worse and the AC doesn't stay cold for very long at all after they charge it, then it's the time to consider whether you want to repair it or possibly switch out to a different vehicle.
Oh, it's so hot. So, okay, so he didn't give me a price. I didn't know it was a very expensive, labor-wise job.
Well, it depends on where the leak is.
Okay, good to know.
And Lola, it's amazing the number of calls that we've received lately on AC. And I agree with you. It is very hot and has been hot. It looks like it'll continue to be hot. But I just thought I'd share that with you. And your 2009 Honda, boy, do you have a great car. And I always get 3 estimates, and I would suggest highly that you do that if you haven't already thought of it.
Yeah, I tried. I was going to get rid of it. And then at the dealer, one of the managers or a person that was working there told me, he gave me his number, and he said, when you decide to get rid of it, he can let me know, because I would be interested in it. And I said, he goes, but if I was you, I would hold on to that car.
Yeah, it's really, it is, it's something to hold on to. You've got a great vehicle.
Yeah, and it has a lot of pickup.
And yeah, exactly. And how many miles do you have on your 2009 Honda Accord?
150.
It's very young. You have a lot of miles to put on it. Yeah, I'd get those estimates and move forward.
Yeah.
And be careful somebody doesn't try to steal it from you, meaning buy it from you.
Yeah, it kind of feels like it's nickel and diming me a little bit. But, yeah, I appreciate it. Now that, it's just the heat and it's a black car, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, the heat is so stifling. But anyway, I love your show.
Thank you so much for that compliment. Everyone here involved, it's passion, and that's what drives us every week in and week out. And we thank you for the compliment. Hang on to that car, even though it's black and it's hot. You can get your AC fixed and drive on.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, leave your information with the control room, and like I said, I'll get that check out to you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. We're going to go to Marty. Marty is a regular caller also. Good morning, Marty.
Yo, Marty.
Yeah, good morning. How are you?
Well,
Good.
Thank you.
Listen, I got a big build-up from John before, so I don't want to screw it up. Last week, when we were talking about Toyota Crown, and I don't want to make Donovan mad, but Donovan said in his email to you that they're going to do away with the Crown for 26. I went on ChatGPT and said that is not correct. And it said that the 27 Crown is coming out. It's going to have a few different alterations to it.
Oh.
But since you're a Toyota dealer, you've got to know whether it's going to hang in there or not. I know Stu's not there.
No, you're wrong about that, Marty. The dealers are often last to know. This is an interesting inside secret. The manufacturers, in their infinite wisdom, will actually leak information to the press before they tell their dealers. Now, if they tell the dealer, think about our dealership, we have about 180 employees. If they tell me something about a new model, I'm going to tell my employees, obviously. Now, that's 180 people, and these people are going to tell their families and friends. So when the manufacturers want to keep something secret and leak it to the press for the impact of the shock value of breaking news, if they tell their dealers first, everybody will know about it before they leak it. So it's funny, you can ask me questions and I don't know, and then I'll have someone like Donovan call up and say, oh, I just read it here, or I saw it there. So, yeah, we don't know the pricing, we don't know the models, and I don't know what the Crown's going to be, but it's probably been leaked somewhere, and that's how you found out.
Yeah, well, I went along with ChatGPT figuring he must have some resource.
He knows all and sees all.
Yeah. So, but I didn't want to say Donovan was wrong because it's not 2027
I understand.
And my reputation is on the line.
I hear you.
Well, Donovan,
thanks for adding some humor to the show.
Donovan is still doubling down. He says
I'm sure he'll
the
be
rumor
jumping
is
right on that, Marty.
2026.
Yeah.
Rick, what did you say?
Donovan says the rumor is 2026 will be the end of the Crown in the U.S.
Okay, well, that means I got to hang on to it to become an antique.
Yeah.
And my big concern was once they add the Trump's tariff on it,
look at
the car is going to be very expensive. It's expensive enough as it is.
Don't be surprised if someone approaches you and attempts to purchase the vehicle you're driving right now. Or are you going to add some tariffs to that?
Yeah, I'll just tell them that in 2024 they had a tariff that I didn't know, and it was on there.
There you go. Every dollar counts.
Right. All right. Well, let's see if Donovan or ChatGPT or Earl Stewart Toyota knows.
Yeah. We'll check with Timmy.
Yeah.
Okay,
right,
Marty.
Have a good holiday.
Thank you. You do the same. It's always a pleasure.
You know, I think the answer might be the mix-up in calendar year and model year, because it is confirmed by ChatGPT that the Toyota Crown continues into 2026. But that doesn't say they're going to label it a 2027 Crown. So Donovan could be right, and Marty could be right. There's a... whether it's going to be a 2027, I don't see any evidence of that, but it is going to be 2026.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Donovan.
And speaking of 2026 versus new cars and 2025,
you're reading my mind.
We have to be very careful this time of year. Most of the manufacturers have 2026 cars available. You can either order them or they have them on the showroom. You can get them. So when you buy a 2025, and I know this is 2025, you're not buying a new car. You are buying a used car. Now, technically, they can say it's a new car because it hasn't been titled yet. But would you buy a 1925 car if it hadn't been titled yet? If it was a new car, well, that's a bad example because it'd probably be worth a lot of money. You get my point. When you buy a new car, it needs to be the new model year. And right now, when you walk into a showroom in 2025, you should be thinking, I want to buy a 2026. Why buy a 1-year-old vehicle? Yes, the price will be less on the 2025, but it won't be anywhere near less than the additional depreciation you'll experience if you buy a 2025. So be sure you negotiate your best price on a 2026 because most likely that's available now. Not in all manufacturers, not in all dealerships, but most.
Absolutely. That's great information. It goes without saying, Anne Marie plays a very important part to this show and the show's past, and she has become a tradition. And I would like Rick to pull her text up or whatever her comments are today. And I think it would be productive if we were to, shut the lines down. Okay, with that said, we're going to move to Anne Marie's text.
And one other quick note, just to finish off that last conversation. Donovan says that it seems like there's also going to be a next generation Toyota Supra not built by BMW. Ooh, that'll be interesting.
Wow.
Okay, from Anne Marie. Good morning. Car and Driver reports that the average age of cars on the road in America is 12.6 years. Let's hear it for those 2012 and 2013 cars.
Wow.
Many cars back then came with actual keys and knobs for the radio and AC. New cars have a lot more technology, with screens being the way to access entertainment, climate, and various other systems. Number one, how long does it take to show a new car buyer who's used to the manual controls on a 12-year-old car how to access the wipers, the radio, the infotainment center, lights, AC, etc., that may be accessed from a screen in the new car? Number two, are test drives taking longer since there's more to learn and show? 3, are there any videos out there that show how to access things that are now buried in a screen somewhere in case the buyer forgets some detail? And if the new cars have Apple CarPlay, why can't I just ask Siri to adjust the temperature or change the radio station on the True Oldies channel, or can she? Thanks. All right, well, to take these in order.
Anne Marie, you are unbelievable. I have asked myself that question over and over again. The amount of time you're asking across the board, and I'll turn this over to Rick in a second, it depends on the individual and whether they want to accept change. Rick?
For the average person to get the basics, it can take even a couple hours sometimes.
Exactly.
And to learn just the basic systems. And test drives, yeah, it's taking longer because you've got to learn how to operate all these new type systems on there. For videos, oh yes. There are YouTube videos that will teach you everything you need to know about your car, and videos directly from all the manufacturers that will show you how to do these things. And as for the CarPlay and the Google CarPlay questions, yes, you can ask Siri or the other, what I guess Alexa is on the Google version. You can ask them to do certain adjustments, and they can accomplish that. My advice for most people when they get a car like that is take it slow and easy and learn just a little bit each day or every other day, learn something new from it. Owner's manuals now are the size almost of an encyclopedia. They're so huge. As a matter of fact, some companies were sending a DVD disc for a while, but of course nobody has DVD players anymore now. But anyways, my advice is don't try to learn the whole thing in one sitting. Learn how to work a few of the basics, and then just keep playing with it a little bit at a time. You know, maybe go sit in the car for a half hour once a week or so, and just play with things so that you can learn how to operate them. And obviously, yes, make use of those videos that will teach you all the ins and outs.
Well, let me jump in there and have a little empathy for Anne Marie, because you're right, Rick. If you build a complicated product, it takes a long time to learn how to use it. You need tutors, you need manuals, you need YouTube videos. But why do we have to go to graduate school to learn how to drive a car? And where we are now, we are in an information overload era. The manufacturers all rushing out there to have what their competitors have. And if they have this little gadget or this little software kink and this camera and this, that, they match it. But they don't think about the poor person, the poor man or woman that's got to get in that car and figure it out. And I consider myself a relatively high-tech guy for an old guy. And I have half the stuff in the Tesla Cybertruck I drive. I don't know what the hell it is. And the average person, I promise you, Donovan, you're the smartest guy I know out there. Tell me the truth right now. Could you get into a new car today, Toyota or Subaru or anything else, and how long would it take you to learn how to easily and successfully operate everything in the vehicle?
Well, I'm going to tell you one little story here. When you first got your Plaid Tesla, the first one, it came a point where you asked me to do something in the car to fix something. Yeah. I think you might have had a flat tire or something, and then you asked me to take it for a drive afterwards. Yeah. I walked up to your car, and I had to pull out my phone and pull up a YouTube video just to tell me how to open the door. Yeah. I could not figure out how to get into the car. Yeah. And then I had to watch another one to figure out how to start it.
So this is an editorial or a request of manufacturers. You need to dumb down your cars. I mean, the average driver of your new vehicle is not a PhD. And you're building a car and you're charging them $80,000 or $50,000 or $150,000 for this vehicle, and he isn't able to use 25% of the features. And we have people that trade cars in having never used a lot of the features on the car.
Exactly.
Yep.
So it's almost comical if it weren't so expensive. So I know the manufacturers don't like what I'm saying, including Toyota, and really they're caught between a rock and a hard place, because there's always a customer that comes into a Subaru dealership and says, well, Toyota's got this, so I'm going to buy a Toyota. And word leaks back to Subaru, and they add that, and it's a endless game of adding fancy stuff to the car that most people either don't want to use or don't know how to use.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you that, there's these little guys that are making millions of dollars sitting in these rooms, making all these rules and, everything that's at your fingertips and how easy it should be to use. You're not reinventing the wheel. We also know how smart you are. But please, consider the consumer. And to what you said, Earl, about being old, far from the truth. You are highly educated, and as far as your Cybertruck is concerned, and my Plaid, let me tell you, Earl and I are still in the learning stages. And on any given day, Earl could be driving the Cybertruck, and he looks at me, and I look at him, and he goes, hey, what's this for? And I'll go, and I'll hit the screen, and there it is, boom. And he goes, wow, thank you. And the same thing with the Plaid. So we are in the learning,
Rick?
Donovan's reply. I can get in and do it in 30 minutes, but 99.9% cannot.
Yeah.
I can design UIs, user interfaces, as a day job, but it's mostly way too complex. Most vehicle software designed really poorly. It's why people like CarPlay so much. If manufacturers would just sell a car with wireless CarPlay that works 100% of the time, they would stop so many complaints.
Excellent point. Yeah.
Absolutely true.
Great point.
Yeah. Yeah, there are people that can get in a car and figure it out in a half an hour. And Donovan, if there is anybody, you're the guy. So thanks for that.
Absolutely. We are going to go to the mystery shopping report.
Yeah.
And the mystery shopping report comes to us from Countryside Chevrolet. And that is in Georgia. And Agent Lightning went to Georgia and did an excellent job. And Stu rewrote, and he did it eloquently, as usual. Give us your vote at 772-497-6530. Back to the recovering car dealer.
Yeah, and for you new listeners, this mystery shopping report, I should have covered it earlier, but we didn't. We go into a different dealership every week, and this is the one in Georgia we're going to now. By the way, somebody check where Countryside...
Macon, Georgia.
Yeah, Macon, yeah, thank you.
Macon,
Georgia. So it's an unexpurgated, uncensored, tell it like it is visit, and we pretend to buy a car. And we tell the facts, even though we could be sued. I mean, you can sue me for anything, right? But in order to win a suit, you got to be right. So what we say is truthful. We post these mystery shopping reports online, earloncars.com, and you can read hundreds and hundreds because we've been doing thousands of these. And we're all over the Southeast and even other areas in the Midwest. We do mystery shopping reports, mainly Florida, mainly South Florida. But we tell the name of the dealership, the managers, the salespeople, exactly what they do. And if they break the law, we say, this dealer broke the law. Now, if I say that a car dealership, by name, breaks a law and I'm wrong, I'm in serious trouble. But I have been doing this with Nancy and Rick and my son for a long time, and we've never been sued. We have never been, well, I think we were sued once, but they dropped the suit. We have never gone to court because of anything we said. I'm almost hoping that we do go to court, because if I'm telling the truth and it goes to court, the publicity will be huge. And that's what we want to do. We want to let people know what these dealers are doing to lie, cheat, and steal to take your money. And these mystery shopping reports tell it like it is. So with all that said, here we are at Countryside Chevrolet, Byron, Georgia, which is near Macon. Did you say? Macon. Speaking in the first person as if I were Agent Lightning, who was our undercover agent. I arrived in the late afternoon and was greeted by a very nice young man at the customer service desk. He asked if I had spoken with anyone yet, then pointed to a sales girl who was outside on her phone and asked if she had anything, and asked if she had said anything to me on my way in. I said, she seemed that she was on the phone, and I don't believe she saw me. Well, that's not good, right? He introduced me. He introduced himself as Dante, the fellow inside, and Dante welcomed me in. He apologized for not having many cars. I said, I noticed your showroom is empty, and there aren't many cars on the lot. He explained, as of June 9th, we're under new owners. Ooh, we haven't done this before, so this really got my attention. And this is a really good thing to stumble on, because it's always interesting to see what happens when a car dealership gets sold, goes from one owner to another owner. It's usually very unsettling and shakes up a lot of things, for good and bad. So we're going to see how this is going to go. New owners. They bought the store and are in the process of rebranding. That's a strong term, a rebranding. I asked, what vehicle here would offer me the best out-the-door deal? I'm interested in another SUV. And this is a Chevrolet dealership, by the way. He pointed to the 2025 Chevrolet Suburban parked out front. You see a lot of Suburbans on the road. And remember, this is a 2025. Remember what I said earlier about new cars? Okay. I said I've been considering a bigger vehicle, and for right now, and for the right price, I should say, for the right price, I may be interested. Dante said, give me a minute to grab the keys. I'll show it to you, and we can go for a test drive. I walked over to the vehicle. It was a new, and I say new again, with hesitancy, because I'm not sure that the 2026 Suburbans are out. I should have checked specifically, but Chevrolet does have 2026s available. Not sure about the Suburban. Maybe Rick can check ChatGPT on that. Rick, check to see if the 2026 Suburban is out. However, I would only learn this later because there was no Monroney label on the car. Whoops! The old nemesis, Monroney labels on the cars. It's just amazing to me how that happens. As you know, it's a federal crime. A dealer can be charged $1,000 for every vehicle on the lot. And, there's big dealers out there with 1,000 vehicles on the lot. Now, what's 1,000 times 1,000? That's $1 million, right? A dealer could be fined $1 million if he wasn't leaving the Monroney label on the car. If I could get a cut of that, I'd just travel around the country to find them. But I think that all goes to the government. Dante was very knowledgeable about the Suburban. He gave me a thorough walk around before we went on a test drive. He made sure I was comfortable with all the features and asked several times if I had any questions. Once back at the dealership, we headed to his desk where I would learn the MSRP from his computer screen. So, the reason you want to have the Monroney label on the car is people, they stop and they browse, right? Browsing is something we do. Americans like to browse and shop. So you browse at a car dealer's lot, and you don't want to talk to a car salesman, who wants to talk to a car salesman? Nobody. But you like to browse. Well, when you browse, you can see the MSRP. That gives you the suggested retail price, plus the equipment, plus the gas mileage, and a lot of information. And you're not being annoyed, you're not being threatened, you're not being lied to, and you're just browsing. But they take the Monroney labels off. So here we are. So we looked at the Monroney label on the computer screen. Rick?
You wanted to know the price on the 26 Suburban?
No, if the 27s are available.
27?
Yeah. This is 2026. The 2026s are available.
Right.
This is 2025.
Yes, the 26s are available.
Okay.
According to this right here, yeah. And you can get several different packages. There's about 6 different tiers for pricing.
So there you have it. Thanks, Rick. That's very interesting. Most 2026s are available now. So what we have to do is double check for you folks out there when you're shopping around. This was a 2025. The salesperson never mentioned the fact that the 2026s were out. And this is not uncommon because the 2025s oftentimes have an incentive to the salesperson to sell these, and to the dealer, they call it a carryover allowance, carrying over from one year into the next year. And they only have a few 2026s, and so therefore they need to get rid of their 2025s, but they don't tell you. So here is in fact, the salesman might not even know. The dealer might not have said anything to anybody. So that's very valuable information. And think about this, the average length of time a car is being held now is much longer. I think it came out earlier in the show. I want to say 6 years. Now, think of the difference in depreciation in 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. The difference in depreciation between a 2025 and a 2026. I mean, no one's going to ask you in 2029 when you bought it. All they're going to do is look at the year model. So if you bought a 2025, but you bought it and you're trading it in, they're going to look at the date on the car when it was manufactured. It cost you thousands of dollars in depreciation, and you didn't save that when you got the carryover allowance from the dealer when he sold it to you. Okay, back to the shopping report. A few minutes later, Dante, the salesperson, returned with Jason, who apologized for not being more dressed up, explaining that he'd been working outside on a few things that needed attention. This is a dealership that had just been bought, and these are some of the new folks that are changing things over. Since the new owners took over. He didn't look too bad, but he'd been out in the heat, and his polo shirt was untucked. Jason said the previous owners only had the store for 8 months and ran it into the ground. Wow, that's fast. How do you buy a new dealership and run it to the ground in 8 months? That's amazing.
That's a lot of work.
That's a lot of work, right? Jason said, I'm here to rebrand with better ethics and to make a reputable name for Countryside Chevrolet. I wonder what the previous name was. I should have checked that out. It's probably available on Google or ChatGPT.
ChatGPT will tell you.
Yeah. We also don't have many cars right now. I'm speaking again for Jason, because it takes about 10 weeks to restock new vehicles after dealership changes owners. Well, yeah, that's where the 2026s are. They're on the way. So they're trying to get rid of their old cars. He reviewed a worksheet with me. They discounted the MSRP, which they found in the glove compartment, of $79,620 on the Chevrolet Suburban by $5,100. And they took off a $500 rebate. They charged us $63.49 in government fees. Now that's legitimate, but they threw in, this is the new owners, $999 in junk fees, processing and documentation or something or other, but it was junk fees, $999, call it $1,000. I was at now $79,925. I asked, why isn't the window sticker on the car? I'd like to see everything that it has along with the miles per gallon. Jason said, thank you for pointing that out. This is another thing I've been working on. For some reason, our service department, blame it on the service department. For some reason, our service department takes all the window stickers off. And they just do it because they don't like window stickers. I'm joking. I brought it to their attention several times, and we'll make sure it's taken care of. Always the excuse. Donnie went out to look and found the sticker folded, what did I say before? In the glove compartment. Jason asked him to get it back in the window immediately. I thanked them both, and wished them much success in getting the dealership turned around. So there you have it. Dealership in Georgia, small town near Macon, Byron, Georgia. Countryside Chevrolet used to be something else about a few months ago, as of June 9th, actually, when they had the new owners.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, give us your vote. You can do so at 772-497-6530. You are an important part of the show. We'd love to hear from you and how you feel about Countryside Chevrolet in Georgia, especially their previous owner that had the inability But I do have to commend him. That may be the shortest amount of time that anybody has destroyed a dealership.
It's hard. I've been a car dealer for a lot of years, and I think if I tried, I couldn't go broke in 6 months.
Yeah, it takes a whole lot of work and
Yeah,
dedication.
I really have to work at it.
That'd be a 24-hour job. 772-497-6530. Vote.
Okay. We got any votes that coming in?
I've got one so far from Tom Steckel. He says C+, no Monroney and $9.99 junk fee. I'd be making my way out to West Haney Chevrolet in Live Oak.
Love it.
No dealer fee and no addendums there. Tim Gilliland says, new owner or not, fees equal a C. See if we get some more coming in. Run a little slow today.
Yeah, the former owner, maybe they killed somebody.
Oh.
I suppose if you shot a customer, you could be out of business in 6 months.
That would definitely scare it down a bit.
Trust me, I'm sure that they took that into consideration.
But you've hit the time
Oh,
limit
don't
for this
forget, we want to hear from ChatGPT.
Are you going to sign here?
To keep the conversation going.
Brian Sidlatko says Chevy gets a C. And Johnny Z. Fradley says $9.99 dock fee. Did Macon relocate to South Florida? I'm making my grade B. At least there weren't any forced add-ons. For myself, I'm going to go and say I'm going to go. I'm going with a C on this one because
no worries at all, Professor. I'll stay quiet and just be here if you need me.
I think they need to work on that dock fee and the government fee. I don't know. Wouldn't that be? I guess that could be your tires and batteries. So okay, I'll leave that one alone. But the $9.99, just put it in the price, folks.
There you go.
I mean, hey.
Does anybody have any smelling salts for Jonathan?
Oh yeah.
Well, a few more here. Mark H says C. Got to build trust in a small town, or you're done. Ken Asher says a hidden Monroney sticker, window sticker, or automobile information disclosure label is a label required by federal law to be affixed on every new passenger car is an automatic F. Cram 1624 says F. Way too much for a 2025. It appears they are really not ready. Negotiate that $9.99 fee. Baby Boomer says junk fee C. Vincent G says D on that dealer. They should be stepping it up being a new owner. Joseph Kelleher says D+. Dock fee lowered the grade. And that's what we've got so far.
Okay, we got 5 minutes left. Earl, how would you like to vote?
It's very confusing. I'm going to go. I'm going to go with a C. I have a feeling that the previous owner was just absolutely, as I said,
wasn't hands-on.
He had to be too bad. So this dealership here is probably much better than the previous dealer, but they're still average.
Yeah, I think they're in the learning process.
The average dealer has a junk fee. The average dealer, we know what average dealers are like. They're not. They don't do the job right, and the only reason they exist is our regulators won't enforce the law. The Federal Trade Commission makes almost everything that a car dealer does today, almost every car dealer, illegal, and they will not enforce the law. And so we're stuck with it, and that's the way it's going to be until maybe manufacturers are selling the cars directly, and maybe they can get it right. I don't know.
Yeah, good point. Rick, how would you grade them?
Oh, I said a C.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
Okay, you did give them a C. Okay, Earl, to your point, or your comment, I should say, confusing. That's an understatement. And I would normally fail them, but in this instance, they have taken over from a previous nightmare, and they need to clean up their act, and I will give them D+.
Yeah. The news even ignores car dealers. So we have a situation with about 17,000 car dealers. Virtually all of them are breaking the law, and the state law, the Federal Trade Commission, and there's no publicity about it. You don't read or you don't look online or you don't see on television this car dealer added illegal fees to the price of the car. You know the old expression, man bites dog? That's news. Dog bites man is not news. So crooked car dealers are dogs biting men. And dogs bite men every day. We need to turn it around with a regulation where it's unusual, and then it'll get publicized. So we're caught between a rock and a hard place.
Exactly. Would you like to turn ChatGPT on? The report has been loaded up, and he's ready for comment.
I'm kind of afraid to, but I will. Chat, do you have a grade on the shopping report? Hang on to your hats, folks. Chat's been a bad boy today.
Sure thing, Professor. I'll keep it short and sweet.
Good.
Once you give me the...
Well, he kept
You
it
got
short
it.
and sweet.
Absolutely, Professor. Just like you asked. Let me know anytime you need more.
Okay, I want you to know that I'd like to get the grade on the mystery shopping report.
Of course, Professor. Just call me Coach when you're ready for that grade, and I'll keep it nice and concise.
Okay, Coach, let's go.
All right, Coach here. I say this week's dealership earned a solid B+. They did well on transparency and pricing, just a bit of room to improve on friendliness.
Coach, you're in a lot of trouble. That was really a stupid thing to say, and I'm going to turn you off, and please stop talking.
Yeah, he's obviously out of touch
Understood,
with reality.
Professor. I'll
And
keep
I'm going
things
to
strictly
talk
to your
over
instructions.
because we have 2
Just let me know
minutes
what you
left
need,
here.
and I'm on it.
And what I have to say is to Mr. E.D. Stewart, happy birthday. His birthday is just around the corner.
Thank you.
And to also add to that, Earl, you must be, without a doubt, so proud. And also Jacob's birthday. So we have a whole lot to celebrate, and we, without a doubt, have been very blessed. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us today. You're a very important part of the show. We'll see you right back here next week on the Oldies Channel. Have a great weekend.